Right in the heart of New York City, at Columbia University, something pretty amazing is happening. Two worlds that seem totally separate are getting ready to celebrate a shared 200-year anniversary. As we look towards 2025, we're going to uncover this incredible story that connects the spectacle of Italian opera with the highest rungs of American academia. So let's dig into how this all got started. It sounds like a trick question, right? What in the world could possibly connect Mozart's music with the historic halls of an Ivy League university? Well, the answer is hiding in a single, powerful number that weaves these two worlds together across two entire centuries. 200. Yep, that's it. That's how many years of history we're talking about here. And this isn't just any old anniversary. It marks the exact moment when two huge cultural forces came together in the very same year. Okay, so picture this. The year is 1825. Over at Columbia, the university hires its very first professor of Italian. And at the exact same time, not too far away, New York City is hosting the first Italian opera ever performed in the United States. A wild coincidence? Not exactly. Because believe it or not, one single person stands right at the center of both of these events. Lorenzo da Ponte. Now, if you're an opera fan, you know that name. He's a legend, the genius who wrote the words for Mozart's masterpieces, like Don Giovanni. But in what has to be one of the most amazing second acts in history, he also became Columbia's first ever professor of Italian. One guy, two completely extraordinary legacies. So, Da Ponte really set the stage. But a deep cultural connection like this needed a real physical home on campus. And that home would eventually become known as the Casa Italiana, a true palace for Italian culture right in the middle of the city. And you know where it all started? With the students. Back in the early 1900s, they formed the Circolo Italiano, the Italian club. Their passion just exploded into this massive fundraising campaign that brought everyone together, Italian Americans, Italians, and other Americans. They even got the superstar architects of the day, McKim, Mead, and White, to design it. And finally, on October 12, 1927, the doors to the Casa officially swung open. And oh, this was no quiet little ribbon cutting. The night before the grand opening, they threw this huge banquet for a very special guest all the way from Italy, Guglielmo Marconi, the famous inventor and Nobel Prize winner. Having him there was a huge signal of just how important this cultural bridge was for both countries. When you step inside the Casa, you feel like you've been transported to a Renaissance palace. I mean, the architecture is just stunning. You've got portraits of Dante and Michelangelo, quotes from ancient poets on the walls, and the coats of arms of Italian cities everywhere. It is such a gem that today, the building itself is a protected New York City landmark. So for decades, the Casa was this amazing cultural hub. But then, in 1991, something happened that completely changed the game and secured its future for good. The Italian Academy was born, all thanks to a totally unique international agreement. It's a pretty remarkable evolution. It opens as this cultural center way back in 1927, and then, more than 60 years later, in 1991, it gets this whole new life as the home of the Italian Academy for Advanced Studies. It completely transformed into the powerhouse research center it is today. Now, the agreement they made was just groundbreaking. Get this. The Italian government actually bought the building from Columbia, and then they immediately leased it back to the university for 500 years. 500! And the most important part? Italy set up a massive endowment, basically a permanent fund to power everything the Academy does, from research to public events. So you see, this wasn't just about saving some old building. It was, as the founders put it, a forward-looking cultural investment. The mission was crystal clear: create the world's only institute for advanced studies that had a distinctly Italian identity and plant it right in the heart of Columbia. Which brings us to today. With this incredible backstory and this one-of-a-kind foundation, what is the Italian Academy actually doing? Well, this is where that rich history smashes right into cutting-edge contemporary research. Okay, so the absolute core of what they do is the fellowship program. It brings in top-tier scholars from all over the planet to do their research at Columbia. And right now, there's a real focus on that next generation, giving brilliant young researchers an experience that can totally launch their careers. But it's not just about the fellowships, not by a long shot. The Academy also runs these huge interdisciplinary projects. You've got the International Observatory for Cultural Heritage, which works to protect at-risk art and artifacts from things like war and trafficking. And then there's the Rule of Law Initiative, which dives into these urgent global questions about human rights and social justice. And if you want to see a real, tangible example of their work, check this out. Thanks to the observatory, a colossal ancient statue from Sardinia was brought all the way to New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art, where thousands and thousands of people could see it up close. That is making history accessible. The Academy is also all about sparking these really important public conversations. Their Holocaust Remembrance series offers a space for serious academic reflection on the Shoah every single year. And a newer project, Women Leaders Now, shines a spotlight on the incredible achievements of women in fields from science to diplomacy. And all of this amazing, high-level research, it doesn't just stay locked away in the academy. It flows right into the classroom. It's about shaping how the next generation of scholars understands Italy and, just as importantly, moving way beyond tired, old stereotypes. The Academy's executive director, Professor Barbara Faedda, is that bridge. She personally connects these two worlds, bringing all that incredible research from the Academy directly to the undergrads and grad students she teaches in Columbia's Italian department. So what does it even mean to teach Italy today? Well, it means tackling these huge, complex ideas. In her classes, students from all over the world get to explore the tension between things like authenticity and tradition, or between creativity and innovation, to really uncover the many different Italys that actually exist. The whole point is to get way beyond the surface level, what Professor Faedda calls hearsay, a brief vacation, or stories from immigrant grandparents. It's all about shattering stereotypes to build a much deeper, more nuanced understanding of a complex and living culture. When you think about it, from Lorenzo da Ponte bringing Italian opera and poetry to New York in 1825, all the way to the global scholars and students of today, this 200-year story at Columbia has been a constant search for understanding. And it leaves us with a question that goes way beyond Italy, one that really speaks to all of us. In our interconnected world, what does authentic culture even mean anymore?